right, slow talking and to the point. American Horror Story, Cordelia. As we saw last week, our good sis just kind of flailed and just fell out. She gets up this episode and our sis is in, dystopia. Everything is it's falling apart, Lord Jesus. The world is just, it's in crumbles and shambles. Everything is just, it's gray. You see these people walking up to her. They look all gross. And she puts out her hand, stop, as if, to execute some sort of power. Nothing happens. And to me, it feels like, them dreams where you be fighting somebody, but it feels like your punches are just like barely hitting them. It feels like your punches are just like, boop. But you swinging as hard as you can. That's what I imagine this felt like for Cordelia. Long story short, girl, the zombies get up on her and they bite into her neck. Now, I don't know much about algebra, but I know that when I bite into a neck, and I'm not going to do it, so, I'm never going to know. I don't expect all these tendons and fleshy, stringy, meaty parts to become... But they bit into her neck. She's screaming. I'm like, how you screaming? They done ripped out your esophagus. It's in his mouth. Your esophagus is over there in his mouth. She's just being ate up, and she looks over and she sees what looked clearly to me like Langdon. Very clearly to me. But she said it was a white-faced devil. And I'm like, well, most devils aren't white-faced. That's not my business. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you just didn't. And then she wakes up. She gets up and she's like, oh, girl, oh, you're here. Wonderful. What happened? And Myrtle is her name. I got it this time. Myrtle's like, girl, you was dreaming, you was screaming, and you was dreaming, you was just doing the most. Far too much. And she's like, I believe I saw the future and it was awful. And I want to see the boy. So she goes to the, after she hugs Queenie and Madison, then she goes on out to the warlocks. And she says, I want to see the boy. So they bring the boy. She says, I believe I've seen the future and it's peril and it's awful and do-do-do-do-do. And they bit my neck, girl. They bit my neck. How disrespectful. And so, in 2 weeks' time, I will administer the test of the 7 wonders if you still want to do it. He says, I do want to do it. Because, he got that voice. It's so soothing. Ooh, it's creepy. I think that's, like, a big part of how he got the role is his voice is so soothing, but he's so eerie. So he wants to take the test. In the meantime, in between time, actually before this, while she's saying, I will administer the test, Myrtle's had it. She's like, this is not done, Cordelia. And I'm like, ooh, don't blow your top, sis. She was pissed. Men have never been. And it's like, listen, I think everything all depends on what I do next. It all depends on what I do next. And so we get a flashback, honey. We just flashing all over the place, girl. This was a flashback, but we get a flashback to the flashback, or is this future? I don't know. But at some point, honey, we back in New Orleans, and Mallory sees a baby deer. She out in the garden, honey. They picking fruits and berries, and she sees it was an adult deer, I believe, and she sees it, honey, and it's all tore up, honey. Some got it, girl. A coyote or somebody done got it, and it's laying there deceased. As I believe that was Chi-Chi in Tu Wong Fu said, deceased. And she just goes over there and puts her hands over top it, and the wounds heal up. And I'm like, all right, good, yes. But then the deer regresses all the way back to its Bambi stages. It's a baby now. It's a baby deer, and it looked very fake the way they did it. It looked very artificial. I'm like, could they have not? Who made it look so artificial? It looked like Disney. It looked like a Disney movie. But anyway, the deer gets up, it's a baby, it runs on, goes on, see what the end's gonna be. And I'm like, well, what if that deer had a family? What if that deer go home, and it's got a husband, and now it's a child, now the husband is a pedophile, they gonna take it to deer jail because it's married to a baby deer. Like, the deer is now younger than its children. You did too much, Mallory. You did too much. But in the meantime, Cordelia is fading. So she says. She looked in the mirror, she lifted her shirt, honey, and she had looked like varicose veins and a gross little patchy something going on. It was nasty. It was nasty. She didn't have to show us that. We would have took her word for it, honestly. I would have. I don't know about y'all, but if she say I'm fading, I don't feel good, I'd be like, oh, dang. Maybe we need to get you some Theraflu. Maybe it's just a good old regular human illness. But whatever. Coco. We see how... I forgot about Coco, and I was glad to have forgotten about Coco. But we see how she gets brought to the coven. Is that her brother was finna eat a muffin or something with gluten in it, and he has celiac disease. They didn't know it, but they found out later that he has celiac disease, so she can detect gluten. And she's like, that's not really a power. I don't really need to be here. And Cordelia's like, well, you can detect danger. That's actually a really good power to have. And so she goes on and is, glad to, I guess glad to be there. I don't know. But to me, it's just like, honestly, you can have celiac disease and not die, so that you eat a little piece of gluten and, you blow up the toilet. From what I understand, maybe I'm thinking of a different disease, but from what I understand, celiac disease just means your stomach can't really handle gluten, and you eat it and then you be sick. But I don't know, maybe you can die. I don't know. I haven't done my research, so let me shut up. But she in the coven now. Welcome, Coco. I'm over it, but whatever. So it's 2 weeks later, and they get ready to bless the devil. So they, we got salt from the earth, seawater from the sea, and I'm like, but seawater has salt in it, so really that was redundant. You put salty water over salt. You could have killed 2 birds with 1 stone, but we gonna keep it pushing. Salt from the earth, water from the sea, blood from the body, milk from the nipple. I don't know, girl. They was doing too much. And fire. And they did this little blue ring of fire around the man, and then this is Langdon, their anointing. And they just, we ask you, Lord, I don't know who they was praying to, but they was asking them to, take all the evil out, put all the good in, all of this. And Langdon just standing there like, trying to conceal this cackle. He like, girl, oh, if only you knew. If only. Oh, girl, I hope you get that rectified. Sis is scratching that head down. I'm always leery when I see people scratching like she was scratching. Keep that to yourself. But they done anointed him, and now the class, the kids all like, yeah, woo, all right, go ahead, Langdon, you can do it. Or Michael, as they call him. You can do it. Eyeliner is watching. He leery. He's weary. He's, he's suspicious. And he looking around like, I don't trust none of this. And he looks at Michael in the face. Ooh, they finna have a collision. They didn't. He looks Michael in the face and sees white, like a white aura or a white kind of creepy like moment. And again, that to me did not look like what Cordelia saw. But Cordelia told them earlier she saw a white-faced demon laughing. And I'm like, but the dude I saw earlier looked just like Langdon. This kind of looked like Langdon, but with a twist. Langdon with a twist. You remember when they used to make Coke with a twist? It wasn't Coke with a little shot of lemon in it. Anyway, that was delicious, actually. Why they stop making Zero and all of this new Coke? Bring back Coke with a twist. Anyway, so he goes upstairs, honey, and gets his purse and is like, no, God, I shan't. I'm going to New Orleans to talk to Cordelia, because this ain't it. This ain't it. And what didn't make sense to me last week and don't make sense to me this week is y'all is witches and wizards. Y'all can't just teleport. Just snap your fingers and be there. It didn't make sense. But anyway, Pray Tell busts up in the room and is like, you jealous. You're jealous because he's that girl and you're not. And Pray Tell whooshes a little chest of drawers in front of the door. So Eyeliner can't get out. It's like, y'all both wizards. He whooshed it right on back. But anyway, he does one of these and gets Pray Tell up against the wall. So Pray Tell stuck up against the wall and he's like, I'm not jealous. I'm afraid. And, that Hakeem Lane done got in my chest. He, pushes the chest, whooshes the chest of drawers away from the door and gets his purse, honey, and keys. As my mother loves to say when she get ready to go, I'm getting my purse and keys. He gets his purse and keys, honey, and he, tips out the door. What are y'all doing? Why y'all this close to my car? Get on. Get on. White people walking too close to your car. I won't stand for it. But anyway, he gets his purse and keys and he on his way on out. So he gets, honey, he loads up the truck and moves to Beverly. He gets in his car. For some reason, he has to stop for gas. And I'm like, I personally, as a wizard, can't you just do something else to not have to stop for gas? Like, it just, every bit of it doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. They go, he stops at the gas station and lesbian grandmother Kathy Bates pulls up in her little vehicle and she can't get the gas pump in the tank, and I could just never get the thing in the hole. I just can't out of my hands, and I'm old, and after a certain time you just run out of time to do what you came here to do. It's just so hard. And Eyeliner's over there trying to help her, and he's like, well, I guess we all feel that way at a certain age. And she's like, well, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about you. And then she drops something, and she drops on down and gets her eagle on and cuts his Achilles on both ankles. I said, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, because that looks like it hurts, and it looks like it may be one of my new fears. Because I'm always walking around with my ankles out. Now I feel like I need to get ankle armor. Anyway, she cuts his Achilles. When he falls, which if you cut my Achilles, I'm going to fall forward, but he fell backwards. And she cuts his throat. And I'm just like, I feel like as a wizard, you cut my Achilles tendon, I would have real quick snapped and got my Achilles tendon hooked up real quick and then ran. Or transferred myself somewhere else. Just whoosh, and now I'm over there. Like, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Anyway, but he dead. And on top of him being dead, she gets the gasoline, honey, and squeezes the pump right over top of him. And kills him. Or burns him, I should say. And it just didn't make sense to me, because she never did. That's why she dropped her credit card. She was getting ready to pay for the gas by putting her credit card in the machine. Now, it's 2018, but this was, I guess, 3 years ago. So it's 2015. Gas tanks still really don't work like that, where you could just squeeze it and the gas come out. You got to put some form of payment in there. So you lost me there, but whatever. She burns him and drives on to where she needs to be. She meets up with her son in the woods, and they hugging, and it's, I got rid of him. Because, I believe in you. And he's like, these are the only people who could stop me. So, thanks. And out of the shadows, because she's like, yeah, I wasn't the only one that helped. Out of the shadows, here come Ariel. And she says, don't talk about your daddy. So he think he just helping a wizard become the supreme. A warlock, I should say, become the supreme. And it's just like, so you killing your own to help this little boy become you still not going to be the supreme? He going to be the supreme. So what? Just so you can say you knew the supreme? It's stupid. Every bit of it is stupid, and I won't stand for it with my feet. I won't. EYE, I won't. But he told lesbian grandmother Kathy Bates where to find the boy, Eyeliner, Cheyenne Jackson. And, they killed him all together. And it's on my nerves. It's really on my nerves. Because all Eyeliner was trying to do was commune with the Lord. He was going to see what we could talk about with Jesus to get this spirit out of here. Let me see. But can we just take a moment and rest in peace for Cheyenne, for Eyeliner? Because not only did he get murdered, he got burned. And witches traditionally always was getting burned. It was terrible. It was terrible. Rest in peace. Let's see what I missed. So we have in the Seven Wonders, and they do it in the style of a silent picture, and I really, really love that, because I'm a big fan of the silent picture era and the golden era of television and movies, girl. Television, who am I talking to? Television was regarded as trash in the day, but the golden era of pictures. I'm a big fan. I love Mary Pickford, even Shirley, I was going to say Shirley Caesar, Shirley Temple and the girls, I love. So I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. So they go through everything, and then we get to the last test. I forgot what it was called, because I really don't care, but she switches up the test. Instead of doing it the original way, I want you to go down to hell and get Misty Day. So, the wizards are like, it's not fair, it's rude, how dare you, you're changing the rules. She's like, girl, I'm the supreme, I can. And he's like, I'll go. So he goes down there, and you see Misty Day having to continually cut open a frog, a living frog, because he's dead, and she brings him back to life because she don't want him to be dead. But then the little boy tells on her because she done brought this frog back to life, and the teacher thinks, no, she brought a live frog in here, and if you ain't gonna kill a dead frog, you're gonna have to kill a live frog. And the thing is, if she don't want to kill a dead frog, why would she bring a live frog in here? Why would she bring a living frog to the slaughter if she didn't want to dissect a dead frog? Teacher, anybody home? Cognition, use your mind. But it's hell, so it ain't supposed to make sense. So she keep having to dissect this living frog, and then she brings him, heals his wounds, brings him back to life, and has to do it all over again. And it was on my nerves. It was on her nerves too. And then finally, we see the teacher get dissected. he gets dissected, and he drops to the floor. He's dead, and we see Langdon behind her, and she's just like, "Are you here to rescue me?" And I'm like, if you ain't want to see the frogs dead, why you ain't bring the teacher back to life? What in the world? Like, you didn't want to see a dead frog be dead, so you brought the dead frog back to life, and then you had to kill the dead frog all over again, but you let the teacher just be down there dead. Okay. But then, you know, we see Langdon jump up, and it's like, well, he didn't bring back Misty, but he ain't died, so but then Misty materializes, and when I say that the lesbians of Twitter and Tumblr were ablaze, they were afire. Like, all I saw on my timeline was, oh my God, the wives are back together. Because when Coven first aired, everybody, okay, my voice, come on back, I'm not ready to let you go. It's still gone. We're just gonna talk through it. When Coven first aired, everybody was like, Misty and Cordelia are wives. They are dating secretly. So when they, you know, got back together, and the way Cordelia reacted to Misty being back, you know, they were all touching faces and all close. You know, the lesbians that I am following on Twitter and Tumblr were just like, oh my God. And I was just like, oh, I'm so happy for y'all and y'all's ship. They ship the girl so heavily. Long story short, because I've been talking forever, this is the 4th video that I've done in the past, like, 2-ish hours, a little less than 2 hours. I'm tired. Because I got to get them all done. But where am I? What am I talking about? Long story short, girl, Misty materializes. We're so happy to have her. Cordelia's nose starts bleeding, and she falls out again, and they get her back in the, you know, the little room, and Misty gives her some Lipton's tea. And, you know, they commune. They just, oh, I only knew you for such a short time, but I've missed you forever. And, you know, they talking about how they gonna fight the devil. And Misty's like, I can't fight the devil. I'm tired. I done been through so much. And it's like, girl, you really just went through the same thing over and over again. But okay, you tired. Excused. You're excused. Cordelia excuses her and says, you have given me what I needed to know. I just needed to know how powerful he was. He will never be the supreme. I'm sorry, the supreme. She puts a lot of emphasis on su. He will never be the supreme. And we all sitting here like, well, girl, what you was talking about then? And I feel like she was making herself appear sick, maybe, to trick them into thinking that he will be or can be the supreme, or maybe he was making her sick. Either way, I'm trying to get to the point. I'm trying to understand why she's sick. Because it don't make sense to me. Because he's not the supreme. Because if we remember, we fast forward 3 years, he ain't the supreme. She's still the supreme. He's just the devil. But anyway, and what's weird to me is that we doing all this free talking in these people's house. Y'all don't expect Langdon to be listening? If I were them, I would be looking all up at the ceiling. Y'all know he can float on up to the ceiling. Look at the ceiling, look at the floors. You know, it's enough of y'all in that room for everybody to be looking at a specific spot in the room to see if he in there. We ain't got to be looking at each other to be talking. We need to be looking all around. Still having a conversation, but looking all around. I think I saw him over there by that plant. Everybody be quiet. You know, but anyway. I'm gonna need you to do better. That's a real pretty truck. It's shiny and red. Anyway, we see, you know, body. You know, we see some hips, a little corset, and, you know, a snatched waist walking into the building. And I'm like, well, who is this gonna be? It's the Stevie Nicks. As someone who cries every time I hear Stevie Nicks, I was overwhelmed because we got Misty back. We all know I love Misty. We all know I love Cordelia just in general as the supreme. She's that girl. Everything about Coven is just so beautiful to me. And then we have Stevie Nicks come back too. I was overwhelmed. She sang Gypsy and I was just grinning down. Misty did her little dip and spin and turned around, and it just was so happy. It was so happy. You got B.D. Wong on the piano. And I was like, well, can Pray Tell come in and sing a little piece? He didn't. But while Stevie Nicks is singing, Cordelia and Madison walk off to a room upstairs. And I'm like, where's the boys? This is a boys' school. Why we don't see the boys? Let's hear it for the boy. Let's give the boy a hand. Let's hear it for my baby. Anyway, Cordelia and Madison are up there talking about how I need you to go and dig up some dirt on Langdon. Pray Tell pops in like, yes, I'm going to. And, you know, they're like, what, how? And he's like, if there were a prize for eavesdropping, or if there were money for eavesdropping, I would be richer than Bill Gates or something, he said. And, or richer than Amazon. And I'm like, well, if he can be doing all this eavesdropping, so can Langdon. Ghetto. But anyway, so they gonna team up. Pray Tell and Madison are gonna team up, and she sends them to the monster house. And I can't wait. I hope Connie Britton comes back. I saw Jessica Lange, and I am so excited. This season is so good. It makes up for the last couple seasons that I've missed because I didn't watch all of Freak Show. I was bored. I didn't watch any of whatever there was with Cuba Gooding Jr. because I don't do him. And it was another season I feel like I missed. I think it might have just been those two because I watched Hotel, I watched Coven, I watched Asylum, I watched Monster House. I might be missing something, but I didn't watch Roanoke. Was it Election? Did they do one about the election or clowns or something that I didn't watch? I don't know. Either way, I didn't watch. Yeah, it was two I didn't watch. Them two. And this just makes it all good for me. I feel great. EYE, I feel great, and I can't wait. So yeah, that's where we are with that. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things that YouTube is saying. I will catch y'all. I will in the next one. Peace.